Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. And we're going to begin with a roll call this morning.
Ms. Parker,
Present.
Mr. Hunter, Mr. Hess, Mr. Tholen, Mr. Seroy, Mr. Dennell,
Present.
Mr. Smith,
Present.
Ms. Armourps, Mr. Ashcraft, Ms. Monday,
Present.
Mr. Scanlon, Mr. Wheeler,
Present.
Mr. Alexander Hildebrand. We have a quorum.
Okay, we have a quorum. I haven't received anything for public comment, but is there anyone that has a public comment? Public comment? Okay, we'll continue on to the approval of the minutes from the February 16th meeting. We have a motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Ms. Monday. All those in favor of accepting the minutes as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, motion carried. Okay, Mr. Andrews.
Yes.
We have a good report from you this month.
I hope so. Good morning.
Good morning.
The facility report for the month of February, we had 169 work orders in the system, so a pretty typical month from that aspect. Moving on to the financial report that you have there in front of you, you can see we were at 304, 461 this time last year, currently at 275. So on the surface, we're running behind, but a lot of that is with regard to line item 87510, excuse me, in the building improvements, which obviously last year we had a lot of building ARPA type improvements, and you can see 56,400, we are running ahead of where we were at this point last year, and that's going to be service repairs by outside contractors. So if you recall, we had a lot of work out at Jerome Combs with several leaking pipes, boiler issues, hot water storage tank issues, and those all hit right around the first of the year. So we are running ahead on that type of work just due to some of the repair work that was necessary. So besides that, everything to me looks pretty normal. If there's any questions, I'm happy to take them.
I do have a question, Mr. Andrews. Are we seeing any changes with the fuel prices affecting the budget this year?
Well, our fuel, we don't use a whole lot of fuel. We've got, I think we have we have about 5 vehicles, and you know, honestly, I've actually seen our fuel usage come down.
Okay.
So yes, we have seen a little bit of that, but as a whole, I guess we don't use a whole lot of fuel.
Okay.
Oh, if there's no other questions on the financial report.
Okay. Mr. Wheeler.
I just wanted to piggyback on that. With natural gas, we locked in the rates that were around the low rates from 3 years ago, and we're still enjoying that. So we haven't seen the balloon on natural gas that other people have, because we locked in very low rates. I think we have another 6-8 months with that.
Okay.
Yep, good point. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I owe you folks an apology. So I think this is the first mistake I've made since I've been here. We were supposed to have a bid opening today on the furniture for Sandy's office in the basement. The bid opening was the bid was advertised, but I failed to put it on the agenda. So bids will be opened Tuesday at Community Services. We only received 1 bid, so that'll be opened Tuesday at 9 a.m. Kelly, is that accurate?
Correct.
So I apologize for that. It's a couple day delay in the grand scheme of things. It won't materially affect the project, but again, I'm disappointed that I made that error. So my apologies.
No problem.
Andy's got a question.
Mr. Wheeler.
For the record, could you name who submitted that bid, just so it's the same one that matches what you open on Tuesday?
The bid was from Warehouse Direct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And any building report today?
Yeah, we got a building report.
Wonderful.
Moving on, here at 189, we've been working through some phone issues here at 189. So the current phone system, I believe, is about 10 years old. There's 2 memory modules in the phone system, and we've been having some minor issues with while someone is talking on the phone, or if someone's listening maybe to a voicemail, they start hearing someone's conversation from elsewhere in the building. So that's kind of an issue. I had our vendor out. They made some tweaks to the system. They think they have it working as it should right now, but they believe it's due to a failing memory module. And they said, given the age of the system, that is to be expected. They gave me a price of $3,158 to update the memory modules, which is something I would like to do. I don't necessarily think we need to go around the room and have a voice vote on this, but hoping maybe just shake your head and let me know if we're in agreement that this is something we should do, given the age of the system and the fact that we don't want, people listening to voicemails, hearing conversations elsewhere in the building. So,
Absolutely.
any questions on that? As soon as I was notified, we had it rectified the next day, first thing in the morning. So it wasn't a major issue, but let's face it, it's something that I don't want to mess around with, and especially for a couple $1,000s, we can get this rectified.
Absolutely.
So I will move forward on that. That's really about it here at 189. Not really a whole lot else to report here. Moving on to the courthouse, which is obviously takes up a lot of my thoughts on a daily basis, and certainly probably contributed to forgetting to put the bid opening on the agenda. The new floor scrubber was delivered. If you recall, the sheriff graciously agreed to pay for a new floor scrubber for us at the courthouse. That was delivered yesterday. With all the dust that comes up from the basement when people come in the basement, walk up to the floors of the courthouse, not to mention the salt and everything else that gets tracked across those floors, they're in bad need of a scrub, which should happen here today with our new unit. So I'm glad that to report that that is here. Basement, as Judge Cunnington conveyed yesterday at Criminal Justice, is going very well. I don't know that it could, the only way it could go any better would be if the doors would actually get in on time. And that's really the only issue that is outstanding. We should be pretty well wrapped up middle of next month with a final punch out sometime in May, depending on when the doors actually arrive. The first coat of paint is on. It looks great. I was over there yesterday. They were hanging wainscoting, which will be painted as well. The floor prep is done. I encourage you to go over there and take a look. It took an obscene amount of floor prep to get that floor flat, to accept the vinyl plank flooring that is going in there. They took a lot of pains with it. It should look very nice. They had to skim coat basically, most of the floor in the basement. Carpet squares, those are going down today. I met them over there in Sandy's office area. And I met them over there to go over the installation of that yesterday. They're starting on that today. I plan to go over later to check that out. The ceiling grid is up. They've got tiles going in. I'm waiting on Delta Controls. I still have to get them over there to hook the basement HVAC system into my software. So I'm still waiting on that. Sandy's Furniture, as we just discussed, we'll get bid opening on that on Tuesday, and then we'll get that ordered shortly thereafter. Jury assembly chairs have been ordered, so we've got that done, because they are very, very anxious to get juries obviously back over into jury assembly. So that'll probably be the first thing that gets done. Overall, I can't be happier with the way things have gone. Dana Goodrich and his staff at the courthouse have done an outstanding job. You may not realize, we get a lot of county holidays that, quote unquote, the private sector does not get. So they work on many of the holidays that we get off, which means that Dana has to be there in the building to let them in. And he's done it every time without complaint, as well as kept up with the rest of the building, keeping it clean. I have not received a single complaint from any judge or any person in the courthouse. We had a couple noise complaints early on, but those have subsided, and I was there yesterday. The courthouse is in as good a condition as it can be, so really kudos to Dana and his staff for managing this huge project in the basement, as well as keeping floors 1 through 3 clean and operational as well. So happy to report that.
Yeah.
At the annex, Precision Controls was there yesterday. If you recall, we installed a new chiller. Precision was there to attach all the control systems to the new chiller, so that'll be operational once the warmer temps arrive. We went through and did a heavy floor scrub over there. The salt and the winter traffic was not kind to those floors, so we did a real deep clean on the floors. It looks better. Probably still needs to be stripped and waxed. We had some minor elevator issues that have since been resolved. And then at the old jail, really nothing out of the ordinary to report. I mean, it's the same thing every month: leaky faucets, leaky showers. I mean, it's the same stuff every day. So. Out at JCDC, Public Safety, and the morgue. The morgue hot water heater's done. They had an aging hot water heater. We made the decision to go ahead and replace that water heater with an instant water heater. That's completed. The cooler replacement likely next week for the guts of the cooler that are being replaced. It's not the whole cooler, just the guts of it. Again, waiting on Delta Controls there as well, because we'll have to integrate all of the controls into the new systems that are being installed. We're working through lots of floors, stripping and waxing floors. My crew works weekends, stripping and waxing floors. They worked last weekend. We're going to take the next couple weeks off, and then we're going to work another weekend, trying to just stay on top of all the floors out there. I will want to put something in the back of your mind. The dishwashing system out there is original to the building. I think we've talked about this at committee. It's hanging on by a thread. I've got some initial numbers. It's well into 6 figures for a new dishwashing system. So I need to talk with the chairman, with the sheriff, with Chief Kalawenzu to kind of get a game plan on what we want to do with the dishwashing system, because that's pushing almost 20 years of age now, and you can't get parts for it. So if something goes wrong with it, I have to find there's not OEM parts. I can't find. I have to buy knockoff parts from another country that we hope work. So that's something that's probably going to have to happen at some point, maybe later this year. The new cooler was delivered for the kitchen, and the sheriff graciously picked that up as well. So he's really been helpful to me in getting a lot of this stuff in and paid for. So that's all I got on the report. If there's any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Any questions? Mr. Hunter.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Wes, I was just thinking, I was having a thought. What's the name of the building that the Kennedys owned on the Chicago River on the north side? What's the name of that building? The big building?
You got me.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Chairman, you got to know. The building, the big, large building on the north side of the Chicago River, which the Kennedys own. Anyway, my point I'm trying to make is that when you're in Chicago at night and stuff, they have different colors and stuff on the walls, different scenes throughout the city and stuff. Had you ever thought about doing something like that for the courthouse?
Yeah. So if you go through even here locally, so Riverside, they built their new orthopedic building out on 45. I think it's at the corner of Burns and 45. They have lights that can be programmed to change color.
Yeah.
So
and not only the colors, but also different scenes. Of different areas in Chicago that they do, and I thought maybe it'd be kind of neat to have different areas portrayed on the courthouse walls.
Yeah.
Different parts of the county, river, different buildings, hospitals, different stuff. Think about that.
Yeah, I will. I don't know how well. I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know how well it would project onto the courthouse with, we've got 2 floors or 3 floors, would you project it on one side or the other? Yeah, I mean, at a minimum, I think the color's outstanding. I don't know if we would be able to do the rest of it, but I think that would make my life a lot easier, because when we do change the colors on the courthouse, we cut little cellophane squares and we go up and tape them on there. So it's not an easy task. So yeah, if I could go into a computer program, hit a few buttons and change the colors, that would be outstanding. But yeah, I'm sure there's an expense tied to that, and whether or not we want to pay for it.
Yeah, that's that being the county seat, it puts a positive focus on that building.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
Think about it.
Yep, I will.
Thank you, Mr. Hunter. Ms. Monday.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A question regarding the building that Jim Rowe and his team were going into. What's the status on that? Are they there yet, or what's happening with that?
Completely honest, I don't know if they're in there yet. I guess I should go check, but all of our work is done. So we've got the hot water heater in, we fixed the wall, we fixed the roof. It's ready to be moved into. So that's one thing that maybe after the meeting I'll walk over there and see what the status is. But I kind of looked at it like, well, I did what I was supposed to do, so I assume Jim is in the process of moving in.
Okay.
He's been kind of busy.
Yes, I saw him on TV.
Yeah, and I forgot to ask yesterday if they had moved into that yet and were operational over there. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Monday. Mr. Hess.
Thanks, Chairman. Wes, the flooring that's going down in the bottom of the basement of the courthouse, is that comparable to what you have out in the sheriff's department?
Yeah. So in Sandy's office area, it's getting carpet squares, but everywhere else is going to get the luxury vinyl plank flooring. And then with that, you really got, and I'm glad we spent the extra money on the floor prep, because that is a thin flooring, and if you don't have a really nice floor prep, any imperfection underneath it is going to be seen. Like if you have, even out at public safety, I can walk around there and see a couple bumps here and there that kind of drive me crazy.
But it's really wearing good. I mean,
They say yes. I mean, that's what that product is known for, is its durability.
great.
Thank you, Mr. Hess. Chair recognizes Mr. Hunter.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. And maybe Andy and you, Wes, can speak to this. What are we doing regarding the west side of Indiana in terms of acquiring any of that stuff over there regarding another courtroom and expansion and stuff?
I think that would be a Chairman Wheeler question.
Yeah. Or is it inappropriate?
If we want to have discussions about real estate, we have to go into executive session.
I'm just wondering in terms of plans, but I'm just.
No, we can't really discuss that in
No
open
problem.
meetings. That's protected under executive session. I'm sorry, Steve.
No, I understand, but I didn't want any specificities, but it's under discussion, I would think.
Right, exactly.
That's all I wanted.
Yeah, it is a something that's moving forward in a conceptual phase at this point.
Okay, that's all I wanted, because I haven't heard anything lately.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Hunter. Do we have any other questions for Mr. Andrews? I do have one. The chairs that you're putting in, are they still able to have chargers in there with phones and laptops?
Unfortunately, no. We are going to look at some charging stations that will be available down there, but we had initially talked about doing a lot of row seating that were ganged together, and talking with the courthouse staff. They want to be able to move the chairs around a little bit if need be. So having all the chairs in a row and ganged together would really be prohibitive to what they need, because they may need to move chairs around. They have meetings down there from time to time. They want to be able to move the chairs. So no. Right. But as far as device charging stations, yes, that's something that we plan to offer in the basement.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a great big deal. Are there any other questions for Mr. Andrews concerning the buildings? Okay, Mr.
All right.
Andrews?
Thank
okay.
you.
With that, is there any old business that we need to discuss? If not, I have something on the agenda that I wrote down. If we would like to see the courthouse, and we would have to do it on our own time and not during a meeting, because of the streaming services that we offer the public. So if anyone wants to go, we can arrange then maybe a tour with Mr. Andrews.
Yeah, just let me know, and I'm happy to take you over there and walk you around.
And see what's what. Okay, any other old business? Any new business that you would like to bring forward? No new business? With that, Mr. Hess, we have a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do we have a second? Mr. Smith? All those in favor of adjourning the meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose?